with a refreshed India 4-point strategy. Under this strategy, ZF plans to invest 200 million euros to grow Indian business and play an active role to partner with OEMs and help shape next generation mobility for the Indian market. Out of the 4-point strategies, the first one, I am going to talk about first one, restructure. ZF has been present in India directly and indirectly for over 60 years. The group has since continued to expand its presence by establishing various entities and introducing its portfolio across various vehicle segments. The recent global acquisition of WABCO has supported the growth ambitions in the region. The acquisition of WABCO and resulting regulatory requirements, ZF's footprint in the region is evolving. ZF will fully embrace and imbibe the long history of WABCO's robust market reputation and organizational values of emphasis on frugal engineering and speed. The combined footprint and capabilities of ZF in India and WABCO India Limited enhances ZF's capability to industrialize the right products and technologies based on market expectations and requirements and develop engineering activities to support the global business and significantly improve the value proposition in an affordable manner for our CV customers in India. The second strategy is reinforce. India will become a global hub for worldwide requirements across R&D, IT, and digital innovation, manufacturing and material sourcing. The third strategy is readapt. Today, ZF already enjoys a pole position across various technology solutions in automotive and non-automotive business segments. ZF is already a preferred partner of choice within the Indian automotive industry. Through higher levels of localization and a strong thrust on design to market solutions, ZF aims to introduce advanced global technological solutions at an affordable value for the Indian market. Finally, retain. Having won the distinction of great places to work, ZF Group will continue to set high standards of community, environmental and workplace practices. I would now like to briefly touch upon the macroeconomic indicators where we do see challenges which are hopefully short-term. Global CV industry. As it stands today, vaccination rollouts have allowed a semblance of normalcy to return in certain parts of the world. This spells good news for the global CV industry. Major regional truck markets will experience strong growth, although volumes might still linger below the 2019 level. Amidst the ongoing pandemic-related upheaval, one thing is clear: the industry is robust and is already on the road to recovery, signposted by digital transformation, vehicle electrification, connected and autonomous technologies, and innovative business models. Indian CV industry. An ongoing second wave of the pandemic has compounded the woes of India's CV industry, which suffered the steepest decline of all regions during the second wave. It began in March 2021 to the already battered growth process from the first wave. The decline was attributed to pre-existing weakness related to credit crunch challenges as well as production stoppages during 2021. Despite the massive disruptions caused by the second wave, India CV industry is expected to stay resilient, making a gradual comeback in the second half of the year. The good news is that we are finally seeing uptrend in the economic indicators like GDP expansion, industry or manufacturing activity, etc. Recovery will be supported by the release of pent-up demand, improving trade, increased infrastructure spending, and greater business confidence. The company is working with all stakeholders to mitigate the impact of the second wave of COVID-19. Gradual increase in infrastructure activities and growth in e-commerce sector, mass vaccination drive and normal monsoon may positively influence pace of recovery. The industry is facing headwinds in continuing increase in commodity prices and fear of a third COVID wave. In such an uncertain environment, the industry is working hard to maximize production and sales while ensuring safety of people and the customers. I will now touch upon the status of integration of WAPCO with ZF. The countdown has begun for a significant step in the group, which is the establishment of our new Commercial Vehicle Solutions division on January 1st of next year. It will be created from the Commercial Vehicle Technology division of ZF and the Commercial Vehicle Control Systems division, the former WAPCO group, which was acquired in May 2020. On 29th July 2021, the joint launch was initiated, the announcement of the new management team to all stakeholders. The division's new management team will start at the end of the month and then begin strategic and operational planning for 2022 and beyond. The nomination of the management team, we are nearing completion of the integration process. We are very satisfied with the process, especially since many activities have been purely virtual. ZF has appointed Mr. Vilan Rem to head its forthcoming new Commercial Vehicle Solutions division. Rem, member of the ZF Board of Management, will oversee the commercial vehicle business in addition to industrial technology and materials management. Powerfully combining the technology expertise and capabilities of ZF, the new Commercial Vehicle Solutions division will have the scale and resources to further accelerate ZF's ambitious commercial vehicle growth strategy worldwide. The new division, Commercial Vehicle Solutions, ZF will become the largest supplier in the commercial vehicle industry. Our goal is to jointly grow faster than the market. The prerequisites for this are very good, as the combination of WAPCO and ZF gives us a broad and unique product portfolio to serve the entire value chain in the commercial vehicle sector. Not only for trucks and buses, but also for truck, trailers, and in fleet management. Our customers appreciate this as a positive and encouraging feedback on the strategic step shows. The two divisions are already working closely together. Since the acquisition, they have won several new follow-up orders. Some of them cover all our components as well as the system solutions for commercial vehicles. That is e-drives, vehicle electronics, and sensor technology. 2 years ago, neither ZF nor WAPCO would have been able to do this on their own. Within the leadership team of ZF's new Commercial Vehicle Solutions division, we would like to share with you that the India region will be continued to be led by me. WAPCO India Limited currently exports from the Mahindra City plant and caters to the domestic customers from the Ambattur plant. There is no scope for further expansion at both the plants, as 100% of the land and floor space have been utilized. There is an immediate need for setting up a new manufacturing unit to cater to the increased demand and support growth in exports, as there is no scope for further expansion either at our Ambattur site or at the Mahindra City plant. In this regard, the company has identified land parcels at Phase 2, Sipcot Industrial Estate, Oragadam, Tamil Nadu, with the land parcel A measuring 31.5 acres and land parcel B at measuring 18.5 acres, totally measuring 50 acres on lease for a period of 99 years, towards setting up a manufacturing unit. The board at the previous meeting held on 17th May 2021 approved entering a lease deed with the Sipcot Industrial Estate for expanding the company's operations. The process of allotment is in progress in Sipcot, and the company awaits a positive outcome. WAPCO India Limited has signed a MOU with the government of Tamil Nadu for this proposed expansion project in the presence of Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Sri M.K. Stalin. The new project is envisaged to be a center of excellence for manufacturing, catering to both export and domestic customers. I would now take the next few minutes to explain the measures taken by the company through its CSR initiative to aid the fight against COVID-19. As we are still amid the COVID-19 pandemic, whose effects have not yet been fully quantified, we are continuing in our endeavor to offer our support during these critical times which would help towards improving capacities of community hospitals to tackle the pandemic. WAPCO India CSR is viewed as a powerful opportunity to help create a positive impact for the future by working together with the communities, government and local bodies to deliver qualitative social improvement. The WAPCO Foundation, a not-for-profit organization, has been set up to implement the CSR initiatives. Till date, we have provided digital BP apparatus, glucometers with the consumables, face shields, masks, nitrile gloves, nasal prongs, critical care monitors, adult diapers, disposable bed sheets and pillow covers, PPE gowns, sanitizers, equipment to augment the capacity of 10 hospital beds like toilet carts and supporting aid amongst other hospital supplies. We have also supported government headquarters hospital Perambalur with 50 oxygen concentrators of 5 liter capacity each. We are currently commissioning an oxygen generation plant of 250 liters per minute capacity at Peripheral Hospital KK Nagar, Chennai, as advised by the state government. We have also contributed to the tune of 50 lakhs to the Confederation of Industry, who in turn has joined hands with the government of Tamil Nadu for a free vaccination drive in the state supported by CAA members through their CSR funds. This was inaugurated on Wednesday, 28 July 2021 by the Chief Minister M.K. Stalin at the Kaveri Hospital at Chennai. Through this initiative, COVID vaccines would be procured and given free to the beneficiaries through private hospitals. Now I would like to share a little cheer with all of you. During the first quarter of the fiscal, our employees continued to demonstrate high levels of engagement and participated in various external total employee involvement conclaves, winning numerous awards across categories. I'm happy to share that in this quarter, our teams won a total of 12 awards, both at national and regional level, in the various competitions organized by Confederation of Indian Industry and ACMA, Auto Component Manufacturing Association. And now moving into our financial performance of the quarter. For your ready reference, the results have been made public at 6 p.m. on 28th of July. I'm sure you had a chance to go through them. A quick summary would be a 281% increase in revenue from sale of products when compared to last year, which came from OE sales of 163 crores, growth of 437%. Aftermarket sales of 60.8 crores, a growth of 90%, and export sales of 220 crores, a growth of 305%. We continue to face the inflationary trend in commodities though mitigated partially through price increases and better absorption. The softening in interest rate did not help the cause either. With all that, I would like to present that we earned a profit before tax of 30.9 crores, which is 40% higher than the same quarter of previous year. Thank you. We are now open to take your questions.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and one on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and two. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking the question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. Participants, you may press star and one to ask a question. The first question is from the line of Rajesh Kothari from AlfAccurate Advisors. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. Thanks for providing an opportunity. My first question is, with reference to the ZS plan in India, what will be the role of WAPCO India and what are the various other subsidiaries of the parent company which are not part of WAPCO India? What will be the role of that? That's the first question. And the second question is, as a part of that, in an announcement by ZF, they have planned a huge sourcing from India over the next 3, 4, 5 years. So what will be the WAPCO India's contribution to that? And to achieve that, what will be the capex which is required to be done over the next 2 to 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Kothari. See, ZF globally is now consolidating the commercial vehicle business. As I said, we are now forming a division called Commercial Vehicle Solutions Division globally, combining the SOL WAPCO entity and the transportation division that was there within ZF. So India also, this the the organization will, the whole focus will come under, the commercial vehicle business will come under the CVS division, or a set of commercial vehicle solutions division. So the current expectation is most part of the that commercial vehicle sales will be handled by WABCO, because of our already strong participation or a strategic partnership with all the OEMs here, and many technologies and solutions they're already offering. There are certain technologies even from the ZF portfolio, like the advanced driver assistance systems, have been announced that it will be handled by the commercial vehicle control system division, which was WABCO earlier. So the decision related to which one will go through WABCO India is largely driven by what is the route to the market, to the customers, for example, what will help, how it will help the customers, what makes business sense, and how we can use the footprint already that is there here, both engineering and manufacturing. The chances are, and what is clear is what is already announced, that products that will go through WABCO will continue to go through. Whatever you already announced, it will go through WABCO entity. But if there are completely new technologies which is not a part of the control system business of WABCO, the decisions have to be made based on what makes sense for the customers, what makes sense, what makes business sense, etc. So of course we will keep communicating as we move forward. Your second question is on the export or sourcing from India. The sourcing from India will be on account of two counts. One is manufacturing in India for the set of requirements globally, which is essentially the extension of what we are currently doing in Mahendra City. The Mahendra City already has a lot of pipeline of orders, probably more or less in line with the products that we are already making. So first requirement is to have a expanded capacity to meet the pipeline that is already there. But that all plus now that ZF is much larger entity globally compared to WABCO in terms of, so we see much more opportunities to take certain products where India can actually contribute to ZF success elsewhere through the cost competitive manufacturing that we can do here in many areas. It could be for aftermarket, it could be for the areas that we are currently working. So we are seeing there's a huge opportunity to grow. And from a capex perspective, so currently if you have been tracking us, we have been investing close to 100 crores every year for various modernization, new technologies, launch of new products, plus of course tooling, maintenance, everything put together. About 100 crores every year we've been spending. This will, in our estimate for the next 10 years, will be of the order of 1,800 crores. Of course, it's a 10-year time frame. Apart from, so we expect another delta of about 800 crores over the 1,000 crore, 1,000 crore that we otherwise anyway spend. That's a rough indication I thought I'm able to right now share with you.
Sir, I'm slightly confused. ZF has announced that they are in the process. They want to achieve 3 billion euro revenue from the Indian market, out of which euro 2 billion will come from the sourcing volumes. So I'm just trying to understand. It will be great, for the minority shareholders to understand the transparency of this, because our current revenue versus what they are looking from India, there is a huge gap, correct? So if you can just tell us what is going to be the listed company's role in this and what is going to be the unlisted company's contribution to this, that would be really useful.
Yeah, if you look at ZF is a multi-division organization. Commercial vehicle is one of the divisions. Okay, so already ZF has a factory in Coimbatore actually manufacturing transmission and off-highway products for transmission for the windmills. That's one business is there. Commercial vehicle is another business. They're also having some presence in the passenger car segment and aftermarket. There are multi-divisions. So I think they have 9 divisions. So the overall number what ZF has indicated is combining all that. And then that also includes sourcing from suppliers, not necessarily manufactured by us, directly sourcing from suppliers also. So the commercial vehicle division we expect broadly we are targeting probably €1 billion by the next 10 years. That is a part of the overall number that they have indicated. Within that 1 billion, what part will go through the listed entity, what will be outside, is something that will be guided by the logic that I actually told you. So in terms of that, largely it is being routed through the listed entity is more because of the current technologies that we are currently offering to the customers. Also because of the footprint and all those things that we have already built here. But still, the exact quantum, exact products, etc., as and when it is being discussed, we'll also share it with you. But right now, together the commercial vehicle, we are anticipating a €1 billion opportunity both for domestic and export put together in the next 10-year time frame. The ZF message is, if you see, it's the investment what they have indicated is for the next 5 years. So you have to look at these two things separately.
Understood. So since the full clarity may not be there, but is it safe to assume, from the ballpark perspective, so when you say large part of the commercial vehicle part of it, which is €1 billion over next 10 years, that will be WEPCO India, and the large part means can one take as a ballpark as a 70-80% kind of thing, just a ballpark?
So 1 billion for commercial vehicle sales. The commercial vehicle sales includes technologies that WEPCO has been building and routing it through the listed entity so far, and then and then probably the technology pipeline that is available with the ZF. Both combined put together 1 billion, both for domestic and export put together.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, and within that 1 billion, the general expectation, large part of that will go through the listed entity because of the listed entity's presence and strength in India so far. That's a very broad guideline I can tell you. And largely, the guideline that we would like to follow is what has been already announced, what has been already informed about the product pipeline that will be routed through listed entity will continue to go through listed entity. From the new pipeline, new products and ranges that are going to come, what will go through the listed entity, outside the listed entity is largely driven by what is the right route to market, right fit for the customers, what makes business sense, how we can leverage the capabilities that are there here, etc. So we will keep you updated as we move.
Great, sir. Thank you, sir. I'll come back in queue. Thank you very much for your answers.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Gokul Maheshwari from Awriga Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, just one clarification. The new plant which is being come up in the subsidiary, that would be coming under a lower tax rate?
Sorry? Yeah.
So what we are looking at is anything which is a fresh investment and a fresh industrialization in terms of products, we will endeavor to use a lower tax rate.
Okay, great.
Which means that we will in all likelihood, will incorporate companies to see to that we are able to take benefit of the new lower tax rate because it would qualify and these are fresh investments. and these are completely new products and new customers.
Okay, great. And just the second thing is on the margins front. While I understand the current quarter margins are clearly subscale, and historically we've been in the mid to high teens kind of margins. Is that something which you think you can get back on a normalized operations level?
Yes, that's our focus. We don't find any reason why it cannot get back to that position. Right now, what our focus is to really get the compensation largely secured from the customers. There is a time lag, etc. But also we are looking at improving the productivity in our factories and supply chain to manage the certain. But when it becomes normal, we expect margins to be as per our earlier performance standards.
Okay. And is there a last one? Is there any changes in royalty or trademark agreements with ZF?
Is the question that are we changing the brand of the company from Bapco to ZF? Is that the question?
No, the royalty charges and the trademark charges, if were any, are there any other changes to that?
No changes. No changes.
No changes. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from line of Susmit Patodia from Motilal Oswal Asset Management. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Good afternoon. Thank you for your remarks, sir. So my question is on exports. In a normal year, Bapco India has done about 800 crores of exports in a year. So this €1 billion over a period of 10 years is not very different from that run rate, considering the much larger canvas that ZF provides. So, are we being very conservative in this €1 billion guidance?
The €1 billion per year.
Per year?
Today we are the best that we could do was close to 2,800 crores. So we are looking at about almost 4 times increase in the next 10 years time.
Okay. So this is the target for the next 10 years.
Sorry?
Is that understand? This is the target to be reached in the next decade or so, correct?
Yeah, that's it. This is our Vision 2030. Yeah.
Okay. And sir, you also mentioned that this includes India and exports. So again, this would entail ZF India subsidiaries also, or this is just exports?
Sorry?
Hello?
Yeah, this is the total sales, including domestic, OE, aftermarket, and export.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Vimal Gohil from Union Asset Management. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. Sir, my first question would be on the current quarter. If you were to look at the production growth versus our growth, I mean, we have sort of grown at about 433%. The production growth on a YOY basis in the domestic production has been slightly higher. So just wanted to understand, should we read too much into this in this particular quarter? I mean, what led to the underperformance in the production growth? And of course, the exports piece specifically, we saw about a 10% quarter-on-quarter decline in the exports business. Whereas if I were to look at the global CV industry, that was fairly strong. So what led to the sequential decline in exports? That would be my first question.
No, the first part of your question, I didn't fully get it. The export part, I'm clear. Can you tell me the first part of the question?
Yeah, on a YOY basis, the domestic production growth has been higher as compared to our revenue growth, the domestic piece, domestic commercial vehicle piece. So what led to that underperformance? That was the question. Yeah.
Yeah, sir. No, our growth is largely linked to the medium and heavy commercial vehicle sector. And I think it's by and large in line with the industry growth. In the case of, if you compare the MSCV sector, our growth is more or less in line with the industry growth. But if you look at the commercial vehicle as such, including the light commercial vehicles, small commercial vehicles, it will be different because we don't supply to the smaller sector, smaller size of the vehicle range, where the growth has been better.
Right. But sir, our overall aim would be actually to outperform the production growth, right?
Yeah. So outperforming in this quarter, there has been because last year it was actually no production, a very low production, and the number actually may slightly mislead because the customers were able to take more quantities, they kept in the stock, etc. But otherwise, there's no big change. Maybe we don't have to read much on that because of the low base and certain stocks maintained, inventory management at different places, etc.
Right. But sir, going forward, we will, on a longer term basis, we will look to outperform the industry growth, right?
Yeah, this year if you look at first half, we are outperforming by about 25%. Meaning Q1 we did very well, and Q2, it is not because the base is low, so it's you may probably not read much on the Q2, but overall as of now, we are in this year growing at about 25% outperformance, which is I would say it's a good industry standard.
And sir, on exports, if you could just comment on the sequential decline on exports.
No, exports, the challenge was, if the global markets are doing very well, but then India, we had to shut down the plant for about almost a month, and even after when we recovered, the supply chains of different part of India was under containment in some places like Coimbatore. So we could not actually deliver the full demands of the customers. So essentially, we have built a lot of pipeline now, the back order. So that's the situation there. Again, we're not losing any share or anything, but we need to quickly recover which we have done by July and all that. But the message here is that it's a matter of supply chain responding quickly, and we are now trying to clear all our back order. We were challenged with the lockdowns and other things in that quarter. While the global markets were they were not under lockdown, they were continuing to grow.
Right. Sir, I have two more questions. So the first one is on the capex that you said. You said that we do roughly about 100 crores every year. So next 10 years, the average, the overall the capex should be about 1,000 crores. But you're saying it would the ballpark number this time would be about 1,800 crores. So the incremental 800 crores would be for the export facility ramp up. Would that be a fair assumption?
Yeah, not only for export, it also will lead to because the many new technologies we will be launching in India. Plus, all the digital transformation, we are also looking at investments on digital tools and methods in the shop floor, modernization. Plus, of course, it also to support the tooling and other maintenance area also. So overall, the Delta 800 crore is not only for export but also for domestic, plus other investment that we will be using for upgrading, modernizing the plant, etc.
And sir, how much would we be spending on specifically on the plant that is a new plant that is coming up in Oragadam? Any ballpark number that you would like to offer here?
No, the initial plan is to have our idea itself is to go in a modular way. First, our focus is to build the plant to meet the pipeline orders that we have, to support the pipeline orders, the visibility that we have up to 2025. That, it should be in the range of about to 10 million euro, all put together, plant and machines put together?
Plant and utilities is about 5.5, and that's about 11 million for the lab.
So about 15 million euro we'll have to invest initially in the Oragadam plant to support pipeline orders that we have. Again, the exact numbers we'll anyway share with you as we move forward, but this is a very ballpark indication that we have in this project.
Great. 15 million euro it is. And the last question, sir, you said that the ZF portfolio, you said that there are certain products like the advanced driver assistance systems, which was in the ZF portfolio earlier, which will now come in the global commercial vehicle solutions portfolio. Sir, is WABCO India looking, because we have a very strong software engineering team over here and we have software exports as a part of our revenue. Will the software integration and software development of these newer products developed by the global entity what are the chances that a lot of the work which already WABCO India is doing for the current entity, for the newly developed entity, that will also come to India? So would that be a fair assumption to make? I'm talking of the software exports piece.
Okay, so the application engineering or interfacing with customers and launching these products, that part anyway will be handled by the India team. But then the development, most part of the development is advanced development, is a joint work of the global engineering teams and India teams. India team actually contribute in the software development, but the model will be same like what we are currently doing. Earlier we were taking the technologies from WABCO Global, and some cases we were tweaking the technology to support the Indian market. Many cases we were localizing and supplying. The similar model will apply now also. Only thing is some of these advanced driver assistance systems, these ADAS technologies or products are already manufactured with ZF at large volumes at certain sites globally. So we will buy it, adapt it to this market and supply to the customers to start with. Because it may not be initially amenable for localization, etc. But obviously the application engineering will be done here. The localization comes for these electronic products when the scale is very high, which is already available with ZF for global markets. So it will be very, yes.
Yeah, but the application, but the software application and the support work for the software, which is necessary for the newer products, will be done by our current engineers in India. Would that be a right assessment?
Yeah. The model is same.
Okay. For the newer products as well, which is going to come under the new entity, which is the new commercial vehicle solutions.
Yes.
Okay. Got it, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I'll come back in the queue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Mukesh Saraf from Spark Capital Advisors. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity. Sir, my question is regarding this new commercial vehicle solution division that you're starting from January next year for the India business. So currently, ZF India Limited, which is headquartered in Pune, it has certain transmission and drivetrain products for commercial vehicles. Are we saying that those will continue to be sold by ZF India and WABCO India will continue to sell its products, or will there be a same, will there the front for the customer, will it be a same entity? Will it be WABCO India for the customer? And will WABCO be supplying even those, say, ZF products which they are already supplying? Just want to understand how is it, will it be two different entities or be one single entity?
Yeah. Mr. Mukesh, the products that are required, that are being delivered for commercial vehicles will be coming under this commercial vehicle division. That includes some of the products that the Pune entity is making, like transmission.
Okay.
So the second point is the customer-facing teams will be same, only one team, because we don't want to duplicate.
Right.
But then the sales will be accruing if those products which are already in WABCO commercial vehicle control system will continue to be with that. The systems that already being currently sold by the the 100% entity will again continue to be sold by them only. Only the new technologies that are going to be launched
Okay.
will follow the, as I said, guidelines, what is the best fit to bring in. Few products like ADAS, it is clear that it will be handled by the Commercial Vehicle Control System division. And wherever the WAPCO entity can actually contribute by localizing, etc., then again, if that is the best route to the market or best business case situation, then we will pursue that one. But there are cases where only buying and selling or bringing it from other parts of the world, wherein the WAPCO entity, India entity doesn't really contribute. It may continue to be with the 100%. The sales will be accrued by that.
Okay.
That's the way we currently look at it.
So are you going to be kind of separating the products based on application, like maybe the transmission and driveline will continue to be with them, and anything apart from that will come to WAPCO India? Is there any such broad way of looking at the new products that can come in?
So right now it is there. There are WAPCO products, there are ZF products.
Right.
So in future, when it becomes a single division, and now the products, when you may not still have the say to separate things. So when those new products come, we need to really take a call. As I said, the logic based on what fits perfectly for customers and what makes more business sense like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So right. And so my second question is, even prior to this whole ZF acquisition, we used to kind of talk about content per vehicle, and WAPCO India was probably around, say, $500 or 500 euros, and say there were WAPCO Global in, say, Europe used to be, say, 2,500 or 3,000 euros per vehicle. And we obviously had that gap, and that gap over time was supposed to be bridged just by WAPCO's products. This is erstwhile WAPCO's products. Now you're saying that because of this acquisition, that content per vehicle can go well beyond that 3,000 euros, in Europe, and so that gap for India also is much larger. Is that a way to understand?
Yeah. Logically, that is the way. But one aspect is the selling price in India and Europe will be different, and that's why, to that extent, we need to make the correction. Right. Because we are continuing to drive the technologies which was within the WAPCO range, the same focus and drive rigor. Those things will drive the content per vehicle for WAPCO products. But now the new set of products are coming. Right. That will further add to the content per vehicle.
Okay. Right. Understood. And my last question is regarding this expansion. Obviously, on the domestic business, we'll have surplus capacities right now because, say in 2019, we did 1,500 crores from the domestic OEMs division, and we are right now, say, around, 700-800 crores. So we have surplus capacities on the domestic business. And exports, we had last touched in 2019, again, we had touched about 800 plus crores, which is the run rate we are probably at right now. So this expansion that we are doing, is it fair to assume that initial 2-3 years it's primarily only for exports that we'll be looking at this Oragadam plant?
Largely that you're right. So largely correct. But there's one another dimension is the domestic plant at Ambattur. We will be more and more releasing it for engineering. Which is so. Earlier we were, of course, we are trying to release move some of these assembly lines, etc., to Jamshedpur and Lucknow, where the actual demand is, or Pantnagar. Okay. Earlier, Chennai plant was handling most of the manufacturing and then transferring the product to augment what was anyway being produced in those sites. But now the change is we are creating a footprint strategy in which we are moving those products which are actually required to be in those regions. We are moving because the scale also improving there. Chennai plant it's releasing some space, but mostly that space is used for the workshops for R&D because we are expanding the footprint in India for in the R&D area to support domestic and global requirements. So in Chennai, while there are space available and expansion opportunities available in Jamshedpur, Lucknow, Pantnagar, etc., Ambattur needs to be augmented for increases that will happen at Daimler India and for Ashok Leyland, etc.
Okay.
While the earlier capacity was, as you said, 1,500 crore, etc. That capacity is available. But the new products when we want to make, we need, we want to have space in South also, because the content per vehicle will actually drive further growth. For that, the new site also we may need some space there. You are correct to the extent that first 1 or 2 years it will be largely catering to the export. In a small way, it will also support the domestic requirement. But going forward, after 2023-24, when we are likely to reach the previous peak,
sure.
we may need more capacity in South also.
Right. Understood, sir. And so just the last bit clarification on this. So for now, if exports demand goes up, we have, before the new plant comes up, we'll still be able to cater to that growth, or we are constrained to that 820, 830 kind of crore number in exports from the existing Mahindra World City.
Yeah, we are temporarily going to manage, the additional demand in Mahindra City itself by making some arrangements. We are trying to move some storage space and also find an alternate way to manage till such time the plant is ready.
Right, sir. Right. Thank you so much, sir, for this. I'll get back in the queue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Krishna Kumar from Lion Hill Capital. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. Congrats for a good set of numbers in spite of the tough conditions. Sir, when you had a longer-term plan for WABCO India prior to the ZF event, and compared to what it is today, have you been forced to drop any line of business or future plans because of the restructuring within the ZF group of companies? As you mentioned, is there any product line or segment that you probably have dropped off?
No, sir. Actually, if anything, it's only augmenting. There is no product line we are dropping. It's mostly we are augmenting and increasing. Because I don't see any. Because our approach has been, because we keep driving the outperformance. There has always a challenge that products that are not making profit should be really dropped, etc. But again, our approach has been to see how to really improve the margin by maybe re-engineering or supply chain productivity, etc. We are not planning to drop anything.
Okay, sir. The second question, sir, in terms of software design services that we render to the parent, how is the incremental scope for that, sir? With the reorganization, do we plan to increase the product design services, etc., that you are offering to the parent, sir? Any thoughts there, sir?
Yes, sir. Actually, India is emerging from the strategy, whatever ZF also has announced. India, ZF looks at India for 4 important growth or pillars of growth. One is, of course, domestic market opportunities. So bring all the global technologies, and as the country moves towards higher regulatory requirements, safety, efficiency, etc. So, and ZF is actually want to play a leading role in the next generation mobility. So we see a lot of technologies, that is connected, electric, autonomous, all those things, all those space it's going to come. This is one pillar, growth in the market. The second is, of course, export. Export through our current product range, plus, of course, wherever we really can contribute through a better cost, best cost location type of concept. This is the second one. This you can also include sourcing from India. There are many suppliers already supplying to ZF. This will also grow. but that is directly from the suppliers to the WAPCO side, the ZF side. So second. The third one is the engineering area. Engineering, if you look at it, both the mechanical hardware area engineering through our frugal engineering concept, etc. So that is India is emerging as a center of excellence. So more and more opportunities will come here. Team will contribute through a design to cost or that type of a model. Fourth is in engineering itself. The software engineering. Software engineering is a key pillar of growth. So engineering area, we are actually looking at almost doubling the support that we are currently making. Again, next 10-year time frame. Both in software, in hardware, we expect increased activities in many areas. The fourth area is IT and digital innovation. It's one area ZF looks at India very as a place to go. We have set up a digital engineering center in Bangalore. In Chennai, we have a global business services, which is essentially an IT innovation hub. All those things we are trying to again leverage. So these four areas, as envisaged by the ZF refresh strategy, will continue to be the main focus for growing India's business and also contribute to ZF from here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, and wish you all the best, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Shyam Sundar Sriram from Sundaram Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, sir. Good afternoon. This is thanks for taking my question, sir. This is Shyam Sundar Sriram. Sir, on the incremental capex of say 80 odd crores per annum that you spoke about on an average, I just want to understand, sir, from a product portfolio, you did talk about some products earlier. I just wanted to understand one part, the foundation brakes, for example, which we were not doing it earlier. So is that also something that WAPCO India is contemplating to enter the foundation brakes per se, given that now ZF is coming out of the Brakes India per se. So what are your thoughts on that, sir? And any other incremental products that you can call out per se that will be helpful?
Yeah, Mr. Shyam Sundar, Brakes India continues to have some licenses of some of the products. I think that is what I understand. So they will continue to make wherever they have the license. Wherever Brakes India is part of that plan as per the agreement with ZF, they are not going to make. ZF has to support the customers here. So one such area we have already identified as electronic stability control in the hydraulic segment, where I think as per that exit plans, that has to be supported by ZF directly to the Indian customer. It's something that WAPCO will support now because we are in a position to support. That is one. Beyond that, I am not right now because all those things depends on what has been agreed and that what will be continued by Brakes India up to what time and but then it's purely ADB. Yeah. So it is purely based on the agreements. So we will respect the agreement and whatever we need to do, we will do. That right now the visibility we have is on the electronic stability control for the certain segments of vehicles, particularly the light duty segments, which are actually in the hydraulic technology. Number one. Number two, the WAPCO already has a disc brake as a foundation brake technology. The drum brake we don't have. We don't have any intention to go into drum brake, but we have a disc brake which already we are partnering with many OEMs. That we will continue to do. So to your overall question, this the Delta includes right now the ESC, the electronic stability control hydraulic part. That's only a smaller part of overall growth. Plus, of course, this brake, which we have already factored in our long-term growth strategy. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Understood. Thank you, sir. Sir, and the second question is on the exports per se. We have been talking of very significantly better pipeline than what we have been doing. So if I look at the fourth quarter FY21, not the first quarter, sir, but the prior quarter, we were close to 250 odd crores in that quarter, which is a 1,000 crore kind of an annualized export run rate. So when we talk of the pipeline being strong, is it like 30-40% higher than this kind of a 1,000 crore run rate, or how to just think about it, sir? Thank you.
So, see, it's like this. The Q1, what you said is correct. We were in the range of 1,000 crore run rate. Q2 is largely impacted by supply chains. I think we did 222 crore or something like that.
Correct.
In that quarter, slightly less than Q1.
We are talking calendar.
You're taking, so I am taking calendar.
Fair enough, sir. I can understand.
So you are able to. So Jan-February quarter, probably if you take that as a reference, you are right. We are in the run rate of 1,000 crores. But if you see this quarter, the just concluded quarter, April, May, June, it was we did 222 crores. I remember some around that number, 220. So the drop is largely because of the lockdown and other supply chain challenges that we faced. As a result, we have a pipeline built now. We have a back order because we could not respond quickly. So that is as a back order which is available now for us to deliver. While the opportunity is, as you said, of 1,000 crore run rate, the challenges are, if there's going to be a wave 3, then there's a challenge like that. Otherwise, you are right. That's the level currently we are in. And we see going that because we are seeing more visibility of a better future, we are planning to invest. We are now planning to invest in Oragadam.
Understood. So this, I was just trying to understand. We also last quarter you also spoke about 2 global OEMs that have come on board to procure compressors, etc., from WABCO. So just trying to understand, are there newer product categories also we are planning from the Oragadam plant, other than the compressor, which anyway I think WABCO India is the center of excellence for the mechanical compressors?
Yeah. See, the current expansion is for the current range of products that we have and more orders expanding to new customers, etc. It's a logic, that is one. That is the visibility we have. But going forward with the setup, now forming a commercial vehicle division, we will explore more product ranges to be produced from that place, which if it is aligned with the current technologies and, processes and support them. Right now, that's not exactly clear which part, etc., but we see such opportunities. In our future meetings, when we get that clarity, we'll also share it with you.
Understood. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The next question is from the line of Jinal Seth from Auriga Capital Advisors. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi. Good afternoon, sir. So just, you did mention about the CV industry on a strong trend upward. Just wanted to check, in your belief, when could we cross the previous peak?
Yeah. No, it's very difficult to predict, but our own estimate is it should be at least 3 years from now. By the time maybe 2024 or 25 could be the timeline when we can reach the earlier peak. But it's more very difficult to answer because very, very uncertain time frame. But we expect sometime by 2025 or so.
Okay, thanks. And secondly, just wanted to understand that if we look at the trends in the CV industry, there has been an increase towards higher tonnage. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely.
And so that means that would be a higher content per vehicle for WABCO?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, because there are, just to add a few more points, there are a few things happen in the industry. One is the increased axle load. The increased axle load necessitated better braking, so that is one aspect. Number two, with the BS6 and increased axle load together, the more, the tonnage also is increased now. Now, increased axle load is increased from 49 tonner now 55 tonner vehicles. Because the vehicles are permitted to carry higher, almost 20% higher tonnage, and BS6 has come with more efficient engines, etc. The vehicle also moving to higher speed, speed and higher transmission, higher power transmission. So 8-speed gearboxes. So all these things actually support increased content. And in these technologies, now future is going to be electronic stability control is going to come. It is mandated in 2023 for the buses, and we expect in the next year it may come for the hazardous goods carriers of the trucks, etc., which needs better braking efficiency that may call for a disc brake. And 9-speed itself, we are seeing there's a pull for possibly AMT, etc. So slowly, the industry is moving towards, pulling some of the technologies that we were trying to launch here. So it will come. That's our view.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Hasmukh Gala from Finvest Advisors. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hello, the team of WEPCO India, Mr. Kaniappan. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to ask the question. So just one or two clarifications I will require. One is that in FY19 we reached turnover of 2,854 crore, and now we are saying that our aim is to reach 1 billion euro in 10 years. That will be roughly about, say, 9,000 crore. That translates to around just 12% CAGR. So do you think that this is the target which you are going, or you can definitely exceed 1 billion euro? What is your thinking on that?
No, as we look today, this seems to be a practical, number. We have done a lot of homework to prepare that plan. Because it also, of course, depends on many other factors, the industry growth and how it adapts all the new technologies, etc.
Okay.
So this is the current outlook. Of course, we will keep reviewing these numbers every year, as part of our strategic plan. We'll be able to share. Yeah.
Okay. And what will be your take on EBITDA margin, which is hovering around 8 to 10% now? Earlier we used to have about 14-15% also. So do you think we can reach that level pretty soon?
Yeah, I also, that's our plan. So there are a few things also. One is the steep reduction in the volume. Number two, the commodity inflation, which is somewhat unprecedented, which we are facing now.
Correct.
The third is even the incentive that we were getting from government that is not there. Now, like, the MEAS government stopped last year. I think last quarter of last year, I think they stopped. Now they were to restart the road that is not yet announced. Like that, there are many headwinds against which right now we are managing. So, but our, as I said earlier also, so our plan is to get back to our earlier EBITDA margins. And the volume, when it is going to get back to our earlier levels.
Okay.
That's the way we are working.
Yeah. And my last question will be, sir, you indicated that at a new plant, you plan to spend around euro 15 million. That will be roughly, say, 135 crore. So that investment will be made over what period of time? And will that be all, or then you will be spending something more also, because you are acquiring 50 acres land?
Yeah. No, we are acquiring 50 acre land from a long-term growth strategy perspective, but we are going to construct only a 6,000 meter square land building, which is needed in the immediate requirement. So that land building plus some machineries that we want to, the equipment that we will have to invest all put together. Current outlook is only about 15 million.
Okay.
In the next 2 years. So you said timeline-wise, it will be maybe next 2 years time.
Okay. And currently, you will be manufacturing the current range of products. I think you are not planning to bring in any new technologies immediately, for which you may require some different types of machinery.
Yeah, absolutely. Currently, it's just an extension of what we are currently producing. Those products where we have got more orders, and so we need the space, more capacity we need. So that's just an extension of the capacity.
Okay. Thank you very much. Wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Maybe we can take 2 more questions, if it is okay. Yeah.
Sure. The next question is from the line of Mandar from Shefa Family Office. Please go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon, and thanks for the opportunity. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, please.
Yeah. So we are planning to outperform OEM by good margin. So how are we going to achieve this? Actually, we have new product pipeline, and if yes, after the ZF acquisition, what are the new technologies actually we have launched under WABCO? That's my first question.
Yeah. So right now our outperformance is driven by the technologies that WABCO already was having. That is, the BS6 when we launched, there are many new technologies we have launched along with the BS6. For example, the braking system itself has become much more robust. We had to upgrade the braking system to support the increased axle load demand. And plus, of course, we have launched a class brake system, which was not earlier 100% penetration. Now it has become 100%. And we have launched, the hill start aid as part of our ABS system. We have also launched hill assist feature or a hill start aid, which will try to, eliminate the rollback. When you are on a gradient, that's a feature that will help the driver to avoid a rollback. So that we have launched. We have also launched, the fleet management solutions. At least 2 of the Indian OEMs with them. So every truck that comes out from August 2020 comes with a fleet management solution that involves hardware. Essentially, it's an ECU. And then, of course, we have also arrangement with the customer to support them in the field and through because we are providing data to them, and we are also collecting a subscription monthly for each truck, etc. So that's a new product. It's a connectivity related product. Like that, plus now we are working with all customers to adapt AMT for the BS6 vehicles, and some of the customers will be launching BS6 in the BS6 vehicles AMTs. And we are also working with all OEMs who are making the electric buses. We are supplying the electric. Some customers have already started supplying the electric compressor. We are supplying in the electric buses the disc brake. Also, to some of the customers, electronic braking system for the electric buses. A few customers have already started now adopting electronic stability control. Even though regulation has not come, they have started seeking. They are launching the product, etc. So there are many pipeline of products that WABCO has been working with all the customers so far. Now slowly, one by one, it comes into the market. That is what currently driving our outperformance. Once, from a ZF Technologies, there are many, ZF has the transmission itself. And with ZF transmission, we are now adopting WABCO AMT solution. So as a total transmission, it is going to be offered to the customer. But there the outperformance, to the extent of the transmission, it may be still handled by the ZF entity. The AMT part will be handled by us. And future, when there are technologies like ADAS, which may come directly to WABCO, etc. So all future, the outperformance going forward could be both from WABCO side, some from ZF side. So right now it is only the WAPCO technologies. But we have many technologies that can really drive our growth here.
Thank you. And earlier when you mentioned actually by 2023 we can expect to cross it was as a commercial vehicle industry as a OEM sales, or it was as a WAPCO sales, the all-time high numbers?
No, it's a vehicle numbers. Today industry is in a very bad shape. The industry number was 470,000 vehicles or something, air brake. Last year it was 137. This year we are seeing only 260, etc. We are in a very still low level. We expect the numbers to reach the peak maybe 2020. I don't know, 24 or 25. I don't have a correct assessment. Initially we thought it will be 24, but second wave has actually dampened that. So it will be probably 25, the next peak. But again, it's
as a OEM.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you. That's it from me. Thanks for answering.
Thank you very much. The next question is from the line of Vimal Goyal from Union Asset Management. Please go ahead.
Yeah, sir, thank you for the opportunity.
Last question. We'll take this as the last one. Thank you. Yes, please.
Yes, sure. Sir, just one, most of the questions have been answered. Just one clarification again, just sorry to harp on that billion euros number. Just to clarify, when you say €1 billion, this was from the entire entity of the new commercial vehicle solutions that the WAPCO and ZF has announced, right? And not only WAPCO India.
That's correct.
Okay. So this will and the entire revenue that we are calling out, that and the entire €1 billion revenue that we are counting will include WAPCO India as well as an entity.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough, sir. Thank you so much and all the very best.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, due to time constraint, that was the last question for today. I will now hand the conference over to Mr. Annamalai Jayaraj for closing comments.
Yeah. We thank Mr. Kaniyappan and Mr. Rajamohan for taking time out of the call. We thank all the participants. Have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. On behalf of Batlivala and Karani Securities India Private Limited, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us. You may now disconnect your lines. Thank you.